I'm going to just read a few things here. You know, we have those that, oh, tarot's demonic. Anything of this type is demonic, okay? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but there are a lot of references in the Bible to doing what? Casting lots. And what's casting lots? It's divination. Okay? So it was well practiced among the Israelites. Okay? Now, when they're talking about this, the necromancy and that type of thing, that's like using the Ouija board and connecting with dark spirits. Okay? Because God is the God of the living, not of the dead. They're talking about the dead, the realm of Satan, the dark forces. Okay? That's what it's talking about. Okay, so let's look and see what we have here. The lot is cast, but every decision is from the Lord. Okay, Proverbs 16:33. So in the Old and New Testament, lots were cast for many important decisions. Proverbs 16:33 is central to understanding that the ancient Jews and Christians believed God's will could be determined by the casting of lots. Okay, the random form of determining an outcome is called kleromancy, coming from the Greek word kleros, meaning lot or inheritance. Okay. There's also, there are 16 different verses about casting lots. So let's look. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." And then they divided up his clothes by casting lots. Luke 23:34. Acts 1:26. And then they cast lots, and the lot fell to Matthias, so he was added to the 11 apostles. Even to pick the apostle, they cast lots. Divination. 1 Chronicles 24:5. They divided them impartially by casting lots. For there were officials of the sanctuary and officials of God among the descendants of both Eleazar and Ithamar. Mark 15:24. And they crucified him. Dividing up his clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. Okay. John 19:23-24. When the soldiers crucified Jesus, they took his clothes, dividing them into 4 shares, one for each of them, with the undergarment remaining. This garment was seamless, woven in one piece from top to bottom. "Let's not tear it," they said to one another. "Let's decide by lot who will get it." This happened that the scriptures might be fulfilled that said, "They divided my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment." So this is what the soldiers did. John 19:24. Let's not tear it again, the same thing about casting lots for the garment of Christ. Acts 1:21-26. Therefore, it is necessary to choose one of the men who have been with us the whole time the Lord Jesus was living among us, beginning from John's baptism to the time when Jesus was taken up from us. For one of these must become a witness with us of his resurrection. So they nominated 2 men, Joseph called Barabbas, or known as Justus, and Matthias. Then they prayed, "Lord, you know everyone's heart. Show us which of these 2 you have chosen to take over this apostolic ministry, which Judas left to go where he belongs." Then they cast lots, and the lot fell to Matthias, so he was added to the 11 apostles. Okay? So, Leviticus 16:8. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, one for the Lord and the other for the scapegoat. Okay? Psalm 22:18. They divide my clothes among them, cast lots for my garment. Proverbs 18:18. Casting the lot settles disputes and keeps strong opponents apart. Joshua 18:10. Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord. And there he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their tribal divisions. Nehemiah 10:34. We, the priests, the Levites, and the people have cast lots to determine when each of our families is to bring to the house of our God set times each year a contribution of wood to burn on the altar of the Lord our God, as it is written in the law. Leviticus 16:8-10. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, one for the Lord, the other for the scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the goat whose lot fails to the Lord and sacrifice it for a sin offering. But the goat chosen by the lot as the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to be used for making atonement by sending it into the wilderness as a scapegoat. 1 Chronicles 24:31. They also cast lots, just as their relatives, the descendants of Aaron, did in the presence of King David and of Zadok, Ahimelech, and the heads of the families of the priests and of the Levites. The families of the oldest brother were treated the same as those of the youngest. Okay? 1 Chronicles 26:13. Lots were cast for each gate according to their families, young and old alike. Okay, so it goes on. I mean, this was a familiar practice. It is a form of divination. Okay? Just as tarot is more about, like the type of tarot I do when I do readings for people, it's looking at a situation. Okay? It's not for predicting big major things. It's not for that. Okay? But again, people get in this thing and they hear the word divination, and all of a sudden it's evil. You're going to hell. Okay? And they start this ridiculous nonsense. Now, when they're talking about necromancy, mediums, in the Old Testament, what they're talking about, those that are dealing with the hell realms. It's like using the Ouija board. You never use a Ouija board, because what you are getting are the dark spirits, the dead. Not those of the light, okay? Because God is the God of the living. There's nothing against, getting a hold of the living. And those that have passed out of form, that are in connection with God, are living. They are not dead. They are living, because life is eternal. What they're talking about, the dead, they're talking about demonic forces. Okay? Those that are dead to the light of God. Those doing black magic. That's what they're talking about. Black magic. Calling up demonic realms. Okay? Has nothing to do with divination. Even the priests, the high priests of Israel, the Urim and Thummim, the breastplate they would wear, they had stones that represented each of the 12 tribes of Israel, and they had things within it that they would take off there and cast lots, do the divination with it. Okay, the high priests of Israel were doing divination. Okay, So again, there is so much, people with a little knowledge is a dangerous thing because they're off on a tangent. Just like this thing, because they say Kundalini looks like a coiled snake. It's coiled. It doesn't mean it is a snake. It doesn't mean it's demonic. It's an energy that starts out coiled. Okay? So again, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and they go off on a tangent. Okay? Screaming and condemning, but I don't see them using that same Old Testament to condemn adulterers, okay? Which at the biblical times, you would have been stoned, okay? They would have killed you by stoning. Why is that never brought up? Why is none of that? It's conveniently not talked about. But if you could find something against, and there's nothing about tarot, there's nothing about that. They're talking about this divination, witchcraft, black magic, okay? That type of thing, sacrificing children, okay? That's what they're talking about. Because divination was a huge practice in biblical times. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here.